Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Silver Cosmos Movie Reviews.
Yeah.
Zing, zing. Yeah.
Oh, my name. This is Patrick.
Hey guys, this has been Marquez has kind of inspired me with this.
Okay.
It's your captain, Chris with a K, direct from the Delta Quadrant, treading the sands of Tatooine through the mines of Moria and across the waters of Kaladin, ready to debrief, debate, and decipher all the strange new worlds here in the Silver Cosmos.
Awesome.
I should have.
Awesome.
I didn't even get mine.
Okay. And this.
No, Patrick, you sit on the bench right now.
Yes, I just literally stood up and then I sat back down. I should have got prepared.
And as always, it's so sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
but here's his coming up, man.
It's the off-brand Superman, straight from the Fortress of Solitude. Back at it again, guys. Okay.
And this
I
is
was-
your
oh,
and this
that
is your
was-
host, Carlos. It's me. I keep it simple, everybody. I keep it very simple.
Just
Patrick,
Carlos.
We'll give
This is Patrick.
Patrick.
Carlos.
We already had your chance,
I got
Patrick.
your chance. I'll start.
Hey,
this time, guys.
I've been just Chris before, so
yeah.
All right, you guys.
it's
So
a work in progress.
So check it out, you guys. So don't forget, on Razor Cut Formation, we have also other channels. We also have Wichita Sports Fellas. We have upcoming The Cutting Crew is coming back.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have two new shows. We have the Packs and Stacks. So for all our bodybuilder enthusiastic guys and
Okay,
women, you know,
okay. I was curious with that.
we're
what
getting
had
ready
do
to
with it.
up and start that. We also have Eric's Fly Fishing Adventures. So if you want to learn more about fly fishing and outdoors, Eric's the way to go. And we will bring back our conspiracy theory shows, Quantum Unveiled.
Looking forward to that.
That one's going to be pretty interesting. So real quick, let's give a quick shout out and thank you to our following sponsors.
It's Chris with a K coming at you to let you know about a couple of my favorite podcasts, Silver Cosmos Movie Review and Wichita Vice. Join us in Silver Cosmos as we go in-depth analysis and galaxy-expanding reviews, and also Wichita Vice as we dig deep into all of our favorite comic book and sci-fi characters and storylines. Again, that's Silver Cosmos Movie Review and Wichita Vice.
All right, welcome back. So for January, we will give away tickets, and it will be a live show when we give it away. Please tune into the Morbius tickets in January. So the way to do it is follow us online. We'll have it through Facebook. We're also going to do it through YouTube as well. All you have to do is like, subscribe, put your name in, and we will draw the winners at the end of the show. So, Chris,
Yes, sir.
we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the Spider-Man No Way Home. So,
Well, as just to roll off the ticket giveaway and a preview that I saw at the Spider-Man No Way Home, the Morbius, man, that looks fantastic.
Yes.
it does.
Holy
Yeah.
shnikes. Looking forward to that. Anyway, back to Spider-Man No Way Home. What
no,
the
it was
question?
Yeah.
it's going to be real snazzy. I'll tell you that. For the simple fact is that Jared Leto, I respect that character. He's a phenomenal guy. Also, Michael Keaton, I'm a throwback, Batman. He's always going to
Yeah.
be Batman in my eyes. So bringing those characters back is going to be pretty interesting.
Anyway,
so let's
on
go ahead and gear.
No Way Home.
And, we're going back to Spider-Man.
Going back home.
All right, so let's give a little bit of information here on Spider-Man No Way Home. So we know it was directed by John Watts. Some of the movies he did we knew was Clown, which was kind of a scary thriller movie. I mean, it wasn't that scary. But Cop Car, and then he directed all the other two Spider-Man films. He has been already announced that he is going to direct the new Fantastic Four.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
throwing it out there. So, yes. In the
Okay.
cast, so this is kind of a long list here, and for the simple fact, there are a lot of star what do you want to call them? Just star
Stars,
actors.
yeah.
Yeah, star
Yeah,
actors.
star actors.
So let's go
Okay.
ahead. Let's
Yeah,
knock
that
it out
works.
real quick. So we have Tom Holland, Zendaya, the Benedict brothers, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Benedict Wong,
Both
Yep.
sorcerers.
Yeah.
Supremes, really.
and
Yeah.
then the smooth Jamie Foxx,
Yeah.
and then the legend William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Also Alfred Molina, John Fairview, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire, and Jacob Batalon. Now, here's the thing. There's more actors in there. We just couldn't get to them. So let's just go ahead and dive in real quick. I'm going to start this off with you, Marquez. So the plot of the movie, tell me about
Yeah.
how the plot went.
It was, to me, everything, the pacing of the movie was fantastic.
agree.
I mean, every single thing. I mean, I could not stop watching it, honestly. It was that good. I know at the end of the podcast we give a score on the movies, but I'm just telling you guys right now, if you have a chance to see it, you definitely need to go see it. It just gives you so much more perspective about how the older Spider-Man stuff ties in with the new one. They did that brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I remember going into this, Carlos, with like a totally, I had no expectations. I think that's why I was able to enjoy it, you know, because a lot of the other stuff I had a lot of high expectations for. But Spider-Man, for me, as far as like the Marvel cinematic characters, you know, I just never really got excited about going to a Spider-Man movie. This one, I want to see it again with the same excitement and fervor I had before. I got so much to say about it. One of the things I like most about the way the movie unfolded is that it was just, even though it was like a 2 hour and 40 minute, was it almost?
Yeah, about 2.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that. I mean, it just kept you on the edge of your seat.
Sure.
I was concerned, and I love the fact that they had, spoiler alert, guys, by the way, Charlie Cox from the Daredevil Netflix series shows up.
Yes.
And I almost passed out. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was wonderful.
I was like, and they just didn't do a glance at him. When the guy threw the brick through the window and he caught it, you know, because he's Daredevil. And then Peter Parker said, well, how were you able to? He said, well, because I'm a really good lawyer. But we all know, you know, that's Daredevil.
Seeing him come in there.
Yeah, and I got so excited, and this is one of the things that really, it spoke to me a lot as a father, because ever since my son was born, it's just kind of been like a tradition that we go watch a Spider-Man movie, you know, and we watched that together, and he wasn't around for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And when Tobey Maguire showed up, and they all sort of shared their pain, and it brought them together in a way that I didn't think it would. And I looked at my son, and he was almost in tears. And I was like, wow, you know, this 14-year-old kid something like that resonated with him. And I looked at him, and he was like, Dad, that. I was like, yeah, I know. Just, you know, you gotta, you know. And in a sense, it brought us closer together, you know. And it was just this beautiful scene. And I cannot wait to get the DVD so we can watch it over and over and over again.
Man, that's deep.
Yeah,
now let's go ahead and let's put a Nickelback song right now.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. The soundtrack. You know, that was great. Yeah.
And who sings into that soundtrack? The singer from Nickelback.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. And
yeah.
And I'll tell you this.
Pun intended, right? Amazing Spider-Man.
That also too with my oldest son. You know, when he was little, going forward, he saw the Spider-Mans, and it's funny now because with my daughter now she likes Spider-Man. When she's getting rowdy, we put on Spider-Man, the 90s cartoon Spider-Man, and she stays quiet. And I even got her went out of town. I got her a little stuffed animal of Spider-Man. So that's her character. But okay, thank you for sharing your experience on that.
Absolutely.
How about Chris? How about your point of view on the plot?
The plot, I think, I just thought it was super well thought out. The way they brought everything in, and the way they did it with involving the magic and kind of a collapsing of the multiverse. And even Peter Parker's like, "What? There's a multiverse?" You know?
Yeah.
That's real. Like as the scientist geeky type of idea, like these are things we postulate, and oh wait, it's actually real.
Yeah.
I loved how they brought in the other two Spider-Men eventually later in the film, and how they interacted, because Peter, this version of Peter didn't have his Uncle Ben.
Right.
Yeah.
He just had his Aunt May, and they do get to that point of the, you know, great power comes great responsibility. Way later in this franchise, you know, with the Tobey Maguire, that happened like the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty much similar with the Andrew Garfield one. You know, that's the constant. But this one happened much later. But them having to deal with that, and, you know, Tobey Maguire's being like, yeah, I, you know, watched my uncle die and then killed my best friend.
Yeah. It was.
And I also loved Ned's portion in that with him. You know, hey, I swear I'll never kill. You know, I'll never hurt my best friend. And it seems like they're kind of setting something up there, especially once at the end when they show that he's totally forgotten them.
Yeah.
And gone about his life. You're like, oh, he, you know, this is setting up for probably the head hobgoblin. I mean, that's
Yes.
comics where he goes. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I was totally stoked on it. I loved the bringing. I was really surprised. I mean, I had seen some of the things. Oh, you know, we think Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. We think, but I wasn't expecting all the guys from Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man series with the Electro and
the lizard.
Dr. Connors.
Yeah.
So, and I liked how they worked together to fix them. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we just want to send them back and make sure they don't hurt anyone. It was like, no, let's actually help these people. Like, that's the responsibility.
Yeah.
The responsibility isn't just to save people, it's to actually help the people that are hurting. And
Oh.
sometimes those villains are the ones that are hurting the most. William Dafoe's Green Goblin character is, I mean, when he actually thinks about what he knows Peter, he loves Peter Parker. He treats him like a son,
Yeah.
and he would never want to harm his son, but Green Goblin does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, that's a constant battle. And you see, and of course, Willem Dafoe's portrait. I thought Willem Dafoe, as well as Alfred Molina, both did a fantastic job. Jamie Foxx as well. I mean, I thought they all those villains coming back just did a great job of walking that almost like the Suicide Squad line of, yeah, we're bad, but kind of everyone's bad. But
Yeah.
we're still good, just like kind of everyone's good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we just think we need this or want this or, you know. So
Yeah.
I like that it was they really focused on the helping part and of course the hero sacrifices in order
Yeah, that was
to
pretty-
help. So
yeah.
I mean, that's a constant. So I'm curious if Tom Holland's going to keep doing it because he's doing really well.
Yeah.
So
There
I
is
hope
rumors
Yeah.
out there that he has signed on for 3 more, and he's projected to make more than Robert Downey Jr.
and honestly,
in the
with
Marvel universe.
I mean, there's no reason he couldn't take over as the leader of the Avengers, being that he was best friends with, or you know, Tony Stark was kind of that father figure that Uncle Bar in the MCU, that Uncle Ben was, for the Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and so that could be set up. I mean, we'll have to see what happens because there's a lot of new things that they're bringing up with this fourth thing.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carlos.
No, I was just going to say really quick on that note, if breaking up for the plot. Now, we have to take in mind there's people that have not seen the older Spider-Mans, and then there's
Sure.
people that has. So for the people that has, we have been blessed to watch 3 different characters, 3 different people portraying Spider-Man. Of course, Tobey Maguire, that's a classic. I still believe the Spider-Man 2 was better than the first Spider-Man.
Of
I
his-
felt it
of
was
his-
more, it was at heart,
Oh.
the show.
With it was between him and Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane in that second one. I mean, that's the heart that was there. I mean,
And then also with Garfield, the second one, especially when Gwen died, he couldn't rescue her. That was heartfelt.
Yeah, it was.
And then for him to not to
well, and that
reprise
was the
his
pain
role,
that he brought back with.
right?
Yeah.
And then to watch Tom Holland, a younger look, fresh look. See, I'm now accustomed to Tom Holland now,
Yeah.
but to see them all together, I now have respect for each individual one, especially Andrew Garfield. I didn't think he was a bad character
No.
for the Amazing Spider-Man.
I think
I liked him a lot.
Real
actually.
quick. I want to say too also that Jamie Foxx, I like this Electro much better than the second one. That bright blue, I wasn't digging the bright blue. And I don't know if people noticed, but in the movie, did you notice that he had the lightning
Yeah,
come
for a
out just
brief
like the comic
moment.
book?
Yeah,
Brief
just
moment,
the headgear.
yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Marquez.
No, I was just gonna say that the line "with great power comes great responsibility" that defined Spider-Man. A lot of times, I think it was Kevin Smith that said, when you take a character from the page and put them on the big screen, they lose their ability to internalize. You know, that line that gives you all you. that's what Spider-Man internalizes. You know, and that's kind of like his guiding principle. You know.
And I also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all I wanted.
I wanted to say too, on the Netflix, they need to let our characters, the Marvel Knight characters, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let you in. Okay, and Jessica. Okay, I said Jessica
I
Jones,
thought that was
Daredevil.
just poorly
Punisher.
written. I don't think that.
Bring
I mean,
Yeah,
bring
that was-
those characters in. Let's get them in there. I mean, Disney already bought the rights already to them.
Yeah.
That's
and
why
they are doing that.
That's why I'm happy they brought in Daredevil, because yes, I like Daredevil. That's still my favorite.
Well, and on the small screen, they also bring about Kingpin. That's a
Yeah,
little bit of a
Vincent
spoiler
D'Onofrio's
in another
character.
series.
Yeah,
but
yeah. We won't
The
go
sa-
there
the-
yet.
the
And don't forget the
Daredevil's-
Punisher. Don't
yeah,
forget the Punisher.
Oh, definitely not the Punisher. Don't
I
forget
would
the
like
Punisher.
to see a Punisher in the movie as well. So now to you, Patrick. Tell me your point of view on the plot.
Oh, I thought the plot was really good. I think there was a lot of points in the plot that we had to take into account of. Number one, the first plot was again with great power. With great power comes great responsibility. So number one is having him not having to have the intensity to kill, because Spider-Man's job was always never wanting to kill his villains or his foes, is to try to help them. So that was number one, and two, he was part of the other two Spider-Man dealing with grief. Now at the end of the movie, now he has to deal with the grief of losing Aunt May. So he is now in the same feat as Andrew Garfield's character of losing MJ, and Tobey Maguire's character of losing Uncle Ben. Even though Andrew Garfield's character did lose Uncle Ben, but the biggest thing was losing MJ. And then I think the other plot that I found was, oh man, I think I just lost it. But I'll kind of jump in. One of the things I really enjoyed about the movie was Willem Dafoe's character as Green Goblin.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, he was good.
I love the scene when what is it? Is it the sled? Yeah,
The glider?
Sled, the glider. Thank you.
Yeah.
The glider hit Aunt May, and then he gets that. Oh, this face. Oh, I love
He
the
does
fact
have
that
the best faces.
he had the best
Yeah.
face, and I love when he just smiled and he just threw it. He
Yeah.
had that creepy smile, and then the scene when he was laughing when he
Yeah,
was
the
getting
laugh.
hit, the laugh.
That is spine tingling. I'm like, oh,
Well, and
Yeah,
what's
it was
so what's so great about his character, I agree, is that you look back to where it comes from, the Tobey Maguire
Right.
versions of Spider-Man, like he was able to, make that Spider-Man so mad that he wanted to kill him. He didn't. He wound up basically dying of his own accord, but Tobey Maguire was close.
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
And then he did it to another Spider-Man that he didn't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
correct.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
how bad is the Green Goblin that
Right.
He's one of my favorite villains in the
You know?
Spider-Man.
And
Yeah.
and Willem Dafoe is, his portrayal of him in his first instance, and I thought he just pulled it out again, maybe even better this last one, because he really got to show that sensitive side when he's helping Peter Parker, quote unquote, helping, which he does a little bit to help fix Doc Ock. But then he's acting like he's helping, but winds up switching. You'll never.
Yeah.
You think I'd give up that power?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's and the laugh. Yeah, the laugh.
When you talk about
That's
do
a
you
classic.
remember in the first Spider-Man when they had that get together? It was him and James Franco and MJ. Remember they had the dinner, and
Yeah.
he was cutting the turkey, and Aunt May hit
Slapped
his
his
hand.
hand. He
Boy,
looked at her
he
like,
Yeah.
Oh, like, Aunt May, I think he's going to drop the bomb on you. You better watch out.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that
and
was-
you were saying about bringing in the Daredevil, Matt Murdock from the Netflix series. I think what they've done, I don't know that they're using those necessarily versions. You know what I mean? Because now they're in the multiverse, so that Matt Murdock could have those powers, but not have done those things exactly the same as happened in that series.
Yeah.
Like
A
that was
different one.
another multiverse version. Same guy basically, but there was a different decision somewhere on the long line that sent him this
Are
way.
you,
instead
are
of
you
that
talking
way.
now Disney? Is this another Disney plot again where Disney's just
They're
mess
just gonna
with our
work
mess
whatever
with-
they can get to.
Yes, that's
Get
how
us to
Disney
keep
is.
time.
They find a way. Hey, we got this character. Hey, let's just put him in. Let's get some quick cash out of that and go. But here's the thing: overall, they're especially in Hell's Kitchen, we know very well that Spider-Man in the comic books, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, they're all hanging out. They're all hanging out there. So
Well, and I'm pretty sure that Luke, to take it to the kind of the universe it comes from, that the source material for these movies. There are instances of both Spider-Man and Luke Cage, and I think Daredevil becoming Avengers at different times. Working with Shield, so they could easily throw that in there and just pick him up and
Definitely
say, hey, he was doing this. He's been a Shield agent. Luke Cage has been a Shield agent working undercover, and that's why no one's heard from him for 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Or same thing with any of those.
So now that we got that plots out of the way, now if you could describe for the people that never watched a Spider-Man. Now let's just we know we've seen Spider-Man. We know Spider-Man. Let's just say for the people that have not seen a Spider-Man, I'll start this off with you, Chris. What would you suggest to them when they're going into the movie? Because I know they'll get lost, but let's just say that
something to watch
they go with
before.
someone. It's something to watch, and they're like, "Hey, we keep hearing this Spider-Man's a good movie." What would you say?
Like as something to watch to get into it, or just some information that helps them? Some information that helps them. I think that you got to look at that. There's the idea of the multiverse. All the comic book things are kind of starting to go to that.
Yeah.
And this is the first one to really explore that experience, that there's the same people like that have the same name. Like and that's a big concept. Not only I think even people that have never seen Spider-Man, I don't know that anyone that's never heard of him probably is not going to go watch. They don't know what movies are, I think. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been around for a while. And so it's I think the bigger thing in it is the multiverse aspect and bringing in that idea that all these things could have happened differently, but they're all the same too. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, just be open to that multiverse idea. Not even so much Spider-Man. I mean, he's a Spider-Man. He does the things that Spider can.
Mm-hmm. When we assume that if a lot of people saw the Miles Bridges movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that most people might know that there is.
If you're familiar with that one,
if you're familiar with that, because I'm assuming most of them may have seen that.
And I think that there might be eventually a tie-in to a live-action kind of version of that with this multiverse action that's starting to happen. Maybe even that storyline being a direct connection that they pull that character into now a live action. Like, that's just the animated world of the multiverse.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, shoot, they have a pig world of Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's when Jamie Foxx said, "I thought you was a black Spider-Man," so I think there's a black Spider-Man somewhere. So that gives us the hint that they're going to bring Miles Bridges. They're actually
Miles
in the
Morales.
they're going to Morales. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Miles Morales. So hopefully they were actually in the process of casting him.
I hope so.
They said they had someone, but it wasn't a good fit.
As long as it's not Will Smith's son, we're good to go.
If it's not Will Smith, Jaden Smith, he's already a Karate Kid.
And I could see like the Tom Holland doing like, okay, he does 2 more Spider-Mans, and the third one is passing it off to the Miles Morales new Spider-Man, who has some pretty cool powers himself with the shocks and the.
Yeah, I played the game on PlayStation. Pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, so let's go over so now that's our first edition of the star review. So for every movie we do, we will give away our stars, and then once it's all calculated in, we'll do an overall. So I'm gonna start this off with you, Marquez. How many stars do you get for the plot out of 4?
Oh, just for the plot?
The plot itself.
Okay, 4. Definitely a 4.
4 out of 4?
Definitely.
Chris?
Can we fractionalize the stars?
Sure.
I'd probably go 3.5.
This guy. Okay.
I would say I'm kind of close to Chris. I would say like a 3.75.
Oh gosh, more math.
It's hard to give those 4 perfection.
It is. But when you think about, like, Carlos, when you ask, okay, what would you say about the movie to someone that's never seen it? Me personally, what really made me feel some kind of way, I guess, was the bonds that everyone had with each other that they developed. Seeing friendships, relationships come together. That to me it's a beautiful thing to witness. And when it's done well, and when they have people that you could just feel the energy, that kind of positive feedback that you get from watching a movie. That's one of the things that Christopher Reeve said about the power of film. It brings people together.
Well, and it's what makes so sad at the end.
Yeah.
When he and makes, it's that big spotlight of the hero sacrifices that he was willing to give up that those relationships that meant, the love of his life, MJ,
Yeah.
not Mary Jane. What's her name? And
It was MJ. I think it was.
they
just
call her
but
MJ,
they-
but it's not Mary Jane. It doesn't stand for Mary Jane.
No,
It's
Michelle.
yeah, I think it's Michelle
Jones.
Joe.
Michelle
Yeah.
Jones. Michelle
Yeah.
Jones.
Which is, I think that they make a thing about that.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
a between the two, Tobey Maguire's and his
Right.
Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that loss, that's the no way home for him. He doesn't. He
No,
can't.
no way
He's
home.
lost his
Mhm.
aunt, who
Oh,
was his
yeah.
home, and then his next home that he had chosen, which was his his girlfriend and his best friend,
Yeah.
which was going to be his next home in college. To get no matter what, they were going to go to the same school and live together, and that was he lost that home. So now,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you actually think about it, all three Spider-Man's theme was home. First one was
Yeah.
it? Far Away Home. Second
Yeah.
was
yeah,
Homecoming.
from this one,
Yeah.
they've kind of
And then-
set up this.
Yeah, No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so the next one will be another home,
Home.
within
something
a title.
home. Mhm.
Probably All the Way Home or something like that.
But I would say I think out of those three, this Spider-Man really spaced it out. Like you can be entertained. There was
Yeah.
there was some dialogue, but the dialogue was
Well,
short and sweet.
Yes,
and
that
just
was-
moved on. It wasn't
that's
like
what I
this.
loved about
even
the
though
movie,
even
yeah.
though there were some times where it was like an emotional part or a dramatic part, it was just very simple and
Was-
sweet. And not long drawn to the point you're like, okay.
But this was the
going.
first one that was fully Marvel, not Sony
Correct, because
produced,
it's
directed,
correct.
and
Yeah.
all that.
Correct.
So it was. It was a Disney.
It's different, yeah.
So it makes you
No,
laugh,
yes.
makes you cry, has some
Yeah.
good music, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just glad.
it's
I'm just
so
glad.
good.
I'm just glad
Yeah.
also that Doctor Strange was not heavily involved. Is great
Correct.
because see in the
very cool scenes though. Those were
Right.
some
Yeah.
cool
Right.
fight scenes.
and
like-
also the comedy that was in it as well. So the
Yeah,
plot
that was
itself, the whole where you shoot the,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
That was
funny.
hilarious.
They answered a question I've always wondered about the Tobey Maguire
Oh, they're like,
Spider-Man. How does that work? Can your webbing does
it comes out of your arm.
What? I know. That was just like, they answered it. He answered it.
I was like, is Disney really going to go there? Is Disney really going to cross
they
that
did.
line?
Right.
So I have so I have 4, 3, 3.25.
You were talking just plot, right?
Yeah,
I got
just
it.
by itself.
I've got a
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we'll summarize it towards the end. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. This is the best Spider-Man movie out of so far.
Oh,
the 3.
yeah.
Correct.
Definitely.
All right,
I
so
agree.
next up we have the special effects. How'd you like the special effects?
Oh, over the top. I can't
Yeah.
say enough good things.
That's-
I mean, as far as the visuals, that was probably the movie's, I won't say best feature, but it really, we know it's not real. Okay, we know that this stuff is fake, but it's nice to see them portray reality so well. With
Mhm.
what it just makes me excited for future movies.
Mhm.
That's how much the action, the over the top special effects, like when Electro, when he would show up, you notice how detailed his electricity was. It would
Mhm.
shock
Yes.
things around him and everything. You would see like the little sparks off of the things that his electricity, he would teleport, and the image, the brief image of him appearing and then disappearing and then reappearing. It makes me wish I would have seen it in 3D. I don't know. I don't know if they had it in 3D, but that was
Oh, I'm sure they do.
yeah, that was
Wow.
amazing.
Okay, so how many stars you give that?
Oh, the special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely a 4. I'm sorry, guys. I just really love this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd
can't
go
say enough.
for I like
Yeah,
it.
I
I was
agree.
saying earlier the little combat between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in the Mirrorverse was crazy awesome.
Right.
just
Yeah.
like trying to walk through one of those weird stair paintings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. The visuals were just amazing. For special effects was awesome on this one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Patrick?
I agree. I think with the camera and special effects worked really well, especially when you have a lot of those fight scenes. Sometimes you just can't catch up, and I love the
True.
fact with the Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fight scenes, it wasn't like you were like, wait,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what? Very clean. I think the special effects were really clean. The fight scenes with Spider-Man and Green Goblin, perfect. Same at the end as well. It didn't look phony. I mean, we've been to some movies when the special effects.
Yeah,
look,
you could tell.
Oh, you can
yeah.
just tell.
Sure.
I mean, there was one little. I mean, I'm glad that they got it really quick. I mean, there was a scene when I think Green Goblin kicked Spider-Man, and Spider-Man used his web to push himself back in the building, and you can kind of see the stunt double a little bit, but they were able to cut that real quick. But overall, yeah, the special effects and again using the camera movement and cinematography was really, really well.
Yeah.
So I would give that a 4.
All right. Well, especially that scene with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man were fighting, I thought I was seeing Inception. Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
I was
with the buildings?
thinking
Yeah.
Inception the whole
See,
time. I
it
was like,
felt
oh,
like-
Tried not to.
Yeah,
Spider-Man in
It
Inception.
did. It did feel
Yeah.
like
So
Inception.
correct, yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you, Patrick, especially with that scene with Doctor Octopus. I
was
like
just
how
about to
clean,
say, yeah,
how
Doc
clean
Ock.
that was.
That was really good.
Going in and they were. It just felt real. Like
Yes.
wow, this is real. This is
Yeah.
real. Green Goblin. I felt they fought. There was more hand-to-hand combat in
Yes.
this one
Correct.
than the first Spider-Man.
Yes.
Especially like with it looked like judo at its max. I mean, these guys were really going at it.
Yeah.
Then, especially Jamie Foxx, I felt he had more of a dialogue. The one thing did kind of bum me out in the special effects is that I wish they would have implemented that in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 instead of making. We were just talking about this Electro all blue.
Yeah.
That just didn't
Yeah.
seem convincing. And then Rhino, when Rhino was just a little mechanical.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
horrible.
awful. And
That
he
was
even
horrible.
said that in the movie.
That's probably why he was.
He
not
said that,
brought
you
back.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I've only fought." When they were asking like, what type of villains have you fought? And he said, "Well, you've met most of them, but you fought a space guy. I only fought a guy in a mechanized robotic rhino suit." It was just like, oh, okay.
They
That's what
did have a good job of some self-humor in the
Oh
other,
yeah, that was
Right.
good.
like some of the
That was good.
criticisms some of the older ones have taken. Even his stuff, I feel like they did a little bit of joking around with that, like how his aunt was attractive and
Yeah.
you know, not
Yeah.
That was kind of funny because I thought for a second that this is real catchy the way how Aunt May was just pretty much doing her. You know what I'm saying? She's just trying to take care of herself.
She's
Yeah.
a modern
And-
woman, man.
And then for all this, because he's always been a mentor to Spider-Man in that movie. But back to what we were saying here on the special effects.
Can I make a quick point?
Go ahead.
I will say I didn't like the special effects with the character who played Sandman and Dr. Connors because
His
those
looked
two
a little cheesy.
They both
Yeah.
weren't there because you can tell that they didn't have a dialogue when they became human. Especially the part when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, once he gave them the elixir for the Sandman to get better, you can tell he didn't say anything to him. He just kind of stayed the same. He didn't look at Spider-Man and said, thank you. And it's the same way with Dr. Connors. I don't think they were there for taping. I think it was probably due to COVID. So they were probably they were probably separated and they put it in the movie there.
What's his name that plays Sandman?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looked a little photoshopped in.
It was very They were both,
when they put him in as, like you
Yeah,
said, like his
they kind
actual
of-
person.
yeah.
Which was what, for a second or two at the
Yeah.
near the
Yeah.
end.
I mean, I think they had this dialogue in and whatnot. I think at the end, you can just tell that they were just added in. And I think maybe they couldn't be part of the taping or anything like that. So they were just there. And you can tell, Dr. Octopus character, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, and Electro were there, but the other two weren't. They were
Right.
just
Yeah.
special effect in at the end. So that one was...
But those scenes
Yeah.
were so brief.
They were brief,
So
yes.
that
Like,
way
they were
you
very
kinda-
Very brief.
short.
I mean, I definitely didn't like
that's
the
why
part.
they did. That's why you could kind of.
The end when they were leaving, when they were leaving, and Sandman was leaving his face. He just looked.
Oh, plastic almost,
He was
right?
like, and I was-
All right.
I-
So we. Okay.
That seems like that was cut and edited
It
from
was
the first
very-
movie that he was in.
See, that's what I thought. I was like, is that from the first movie?
I did
Because
too,
I
actually.
was like, is that? I think they just added that because he just went like, I'm like, wait. I mean, even with Dr. Connors, I didn't know if that was coming from like that movie or the first
Yeah,
movie because
you
he just,
barely see it.
he was just doing the same thing. There wasn't no.
It was just him
change.
like looking up.
Yeah,
like,
him looking up.
oh,
I
Am
even
I
forgot.
killing?
I was wondering, like, where did Dr. Lizard come from? What movie was it? Then I was like, oh yeah, the first
first
Amazing
Amazing.
Spider-Man. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, now it's just because the second one was so much better than the first one.
Yeah.
That's why I
well,
totally forgot
that's
about that.
I
that's
forgot
kind
about
of
too.
what happened. That's why that one trailed off and didn't get a trilogy. It wasn't that good. Like, it's not that Andrew Garfield was a bad Spider-Man.
No, he was
It's just
great,
that
I
the
think.
franchise itself wasn't that. They weren't doing anything
Yeah.
good, and they were competing against the Marvel stuff that was doing great
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've pulled in, and now they're like, oh, Sony's like, oh, we can make more money by giving you some of it? Okay.
And that's probably why
Yeah.
they're doing Fantastic
sure.
Four.
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah.
that's why they bought Fox.
Oh,
they
that-
bought
that's right,
Fox
that's
to.
right, that's
Yeah,
right.
thank goodness, because
Yeah.
I'm tired of Fox messing up my Fantastic Four group. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
well,
I
and
want to
the
see
X-Men
some.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
Well-
X-Men's still a classic, but we'll see how they're going to go about it differently. So, all right, so
I hope they
this
get
is it.
I
This
love
is
the
it. So
X-Men.
overall, this is finally for 2022 for the first movie review we're doing. Overall, with the stars, how do you rate the movie overall?
Like
I'll start
some
with this with
stars.
you, Patrick.
Like-
With the actors or with
Everything,
just stars?
everything now,
Okay.
everything together.
I would say 4 out of 4. I will say it's not the best Marvel movie of all time. Like a lot of
Agreed.
people say that, but I think it's one of the best in the like maybe the top 5. I would say that. But I
Easily
would
top
give-
5.
Yeah, easily top 5. 4 out of 4.
Take that.
Definitely see
Yeah,
it.
I would agree wholeheartedly. It's 4. It's not the best, but it's definitely in the top 5. And like Marquez is saying earlier, I mean, it's whatever 2 hours and a half, 2 hour 40
Yeah.
minutes, and it feels like it's 5 minutes. You're just like, oh, it's over already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I would have to give it a 4, guys. I'm sorry. Honestly, I've worked hard to look for a flaw in it, and I have to talk about the post-credit scenes. You know, when Venom showed up, when Tom Hardy Venom was there, I'm like,
Yeah.
And well,
so I gotta give it a 4.
so they're saying because Tom Hardy went away,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not going to be his Venom in this universe.
Yeah.
But a drop of the symbiotes here,
Mhm.
and it's going to create a new
Venom.
symbiote. I don't. It might be like Carnage. I don't know because
Yeah.
all it took was some. Although it was administered a different way, so it might just be a new Venom.
Or an Eddie Brock from the
But the
universe.
weird thing is, how did? Because it was only supposed to be people that knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man that was coming to this universe of Tom Holland's.
Remember?
Spider-Man.
Did you
So how
watch
does
Venom?
Eddie-
Did you watch the
Yeah,
Let
but
There
how
Be
does-
Carnage? Did you? Okay.
Oh, that's all right at the end.
Yeah,
right?
he said
saw
okay
that-
when he was
I-
exposed.
Right.
Remember
right,
when
right.
at the end
Okay.
of?
Oh,
Did you see?
I
Let There
haven't
Be-
seen. I haven't seen
Oh,
it. I need to see
okay.
it, but
Okay, I
but
just spoiled
no,
it
no,
for
no.
you.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been more than 3 months.
We're spoiling each
Patrick,
other.
this is Patrick did not see that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't see the Eternals. That's
So pretty much on my end, I'm giving it 4 out of 4. The music was great. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to Michael Giacchino. He did a great job on that. And so we all have come to agree that it's going to be 4 out of 4. So we highly recommend you watching it. I think this is one of the best movies of Marvel so far.
Correct.
I'll give it up. But we've got so much more to go. And for the audience that's never gotten into the Marvel comic books, take the time. There's plenty of movies. You've got the Iron Mans, you got the Thors, you have the Avengers assemblies, and then even the smaller characters going in like Black Widow,
Yeah.
Hawkeye,
Yeah.
Disney Plus. So
Yeah.
it's kind of amazing when the friends kind of talk to you to say, "Hey, can you tell me a little bit more about this character?" And because since I'm a comic book enthusiastic guy, I like talking about it. So this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad we start off with the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, you guys, we will on the next show we will talk about the Matrix. We're gonna discuss.
Yeah. Okay. Carl.
Marquez is gonna have a lot of explaining to do on
Yeah.
this Matrix.
Just yeah.
And also we will continue with Dune Part 2. So now we're gonna go in depth with the characters on this next one.
Okay.
So that pretty much concludes the show.
Awesome.
Anything to say before we go?
No, thanks a lot for watching, guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my Steelers and Ravens fans out there.
it was a great opportunity to talk about Spider-Man because he's my favorite character. And so next
Yes.
time, guys, I'll have a better introduction. not know this is Patrick. Period. There's gonna be a couple more sentences, so please give me the faith.
Okay.
All right, and I will do one myself. I'm
Okay,
going to think
all
of one. I think
Yeah,
I
me
found
too.
my niche, but we'll get to it to the next episode. And I
Okay.
want to say also thank you to the friends and family and the audience for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.